Hi, I'm Beth Zerkowski, and I'm going to talk to you about the history of model toy trains. In 1803, George Stephenson was the first to create the steam engine to haul coal out of the mines. In October the 6th through the 14th, 1829, 5 railroad engines were invented in the important Rain Hill Trials, which was a competition to see whose engineered railroad engine would work the best on the railway. George Stephenson had argued that a locomotive would be the best thing to run on a nearly completed Liverpool and Manchester railway. The railway set up a mile-long track for those who entered the competition. Stephenson's rocket was the only one to complete the race and was declared the winner. The directors of the railway gave George and Robert Stephenson a contract to produce locomotive for the railway. In 1840, the first carpet locomotive made out of wood and metal was made in the UK. It was called the Birmingham Dribbler, because it would dribble water on the floor if it ran around the room. They had been known to cause fires after bumping into the furniture and sometimes explosions. They were made without tracks and were just left to roam the house until the water ran out or the fuel did. The next model train in 1859 was given by Emperor Napoleon to his 3-year-old son, also Napoleon III, in Paris, France, called the Railway of the Prince Imperial. It was a wind-up train that ran on watch components. It ran on a figure-8 track. Next came Germany's model trains from Markland in 1891, and the prices were very high for the average consumer. Seems as only the rich could afford them. Then by 1950, the United States had lowered the price, so now more and more people could afford them. It was the most popular toy for boys at Christmas time or birthdays. In 1896, Carlisle and Finch in Cincinnati, Ohio, developed electrical-powered trains that ran on a metal track. They were made of wood and metal. Also in 1896, Edward Ives had a factory in Plymouth, Connecticut that made model trains. There were other manufacturers of toy trains that were made using wind-ups, steam, electric batteries, or had overhead wires to power the trains. In 1901, Lionel invents his first electric-powered train. Electricity is still a rarity in homes, so Joshua Lionel Cowan had his trains running on an acid-filled battery called a wet cell. These trains were used for toy store displays in windows to capture people's eyes as they went about their business. Soon the trains were running on a 110-volt electric transformer. Then the roaring 1920s came, and it was the golden age of model trains. The toy train saw widespread popularity, but then the Depression happened in 1929 and sales slumped. The models were just too expensive. In 1930, the HO and O scales were introduced. HO cars are approximately 5.5 inches long. The O scale car is a little under 10 inches long. Then in 1942 to 95, the production of model trains stopped during the World War II. The metal normally used for model trains had to go towards the war for planes, helmets, and jeeps. Early in 1950, model toy trains were the #1 toy for boys. Then in the 1950s, plastic replaces metal on toy trains and wood is no longer used. Then in 1965, N-scale trains were introduced. The cars were 3 3/4 inches in length. The whole set of the engine in 4 cars is only 1.5 feet, so that's very small. Next in 1970s, the G-scale train was introduced, which is a very big train. Each car was 20 inches long. Also in 1972, the Z-scale was introduced by Markland in Germany. It's the smallest commercially sold train in the world. In 1980, digital control and sound systems were created. Just to let you know, there were over 500,000 model train collectors in the US and Canada. Well, that's it. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.